Hi guys, it's Mattiace, and here we are with a bit of a recap from the Battlefield 2042 beta, which has just recently ended by the time that I am editing this video. And holy shit, what a blast I have had. I have enjoyed playing this game. I think I've been streaming for like 8 hours a day. It's been insane, and right now I guess I am suffering from Battlefield 2042 beta withdrawal. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a massive amount of frustration, bugs, irritation, and I have heard plenty of people that are super disappointed with this game, and I'm talking about some very experienced, high-skilled Battlefield veterans that have decided to claim their refund. Now, if you've experienced a lot of unexplainable weird bugs or just, I don't know, strange physics or whatever, bullets not connecting or with hit detection, sometimes you kill people really fast, sometimes you can empty the clips into an enemy and nothing happens. Wait until I show you the jet gameplay in this video, and even if you're not a pilot, even if you have no interest in flying whatsoever, it might give you a little bit of an explanation to what you have experienced, but it just shows it from a different point of view. Now this, on the other hand, is probably a little bit also hard to explain. I was basically emptying the entire clip of a minigun from above into that heli without being able to kill it, and I was shooting the rotors of that heli with I don't know if anybody decided to count bullets there, but I guess it should have been enough. Now keep in mind, when you play this game you have no idea whether or not the guy you're playing against, or if it's multiple players, if one of them or two of them are playing with, like, let's say 25 or 30 ping, and then the next guy is playing with something like 250 ping, because I can assure you there are people out there with insomnia that should be asleep at night but who decides to go on and play Battlefield instead, and when that happens, you or they or me might end up on a server with 170 ping or 250 ping, and even if you can check your own latency up in the top right corner when you tab out or when you try to look at the scoreboard, which is quite underwhelming, I might add, there's no way of knowing, or at least as far as I know, what ping your enemy had that you encountered in that specific moment. Now, another thing that I want to add to this video is that I think that there is a lot of people, and I mean a shit ton of people, that are judging this game too early. Me personally, the first 2 days of playing the beta, I really didn't like it. And then I started coming around on the third day, I guess. And then the very last day, I just couldn't stop playing. It was just like my head was pounding. I was getting some sleep deprivation. I was not feeling good. My body was sore all over from just sitting too much in one position. But I just could not stop. Oh, did I ever tell you about the importance of leading and tap firing? Now, the scenery and the epicness of this game is insane, and here's one of those examples. But there's another thing I want to point out with this clip here. Notice how I'm holding up the gun up over my right shoulder, and I'm sprinting even faster than the normal sprinting speed. Oh wait, you need the sound for this. Fuck! Holy shit! Now what you just witnessed there was on mostly low graphics, just saying. So back to this fast sprint again, and one of the things that I want to point out here is that I've heard people go on massive rants on this game, spewing out hate about partly the big map, the movement, and a few other features, not even knowing that you can do this. Now me, I learned this from one of the guys watching the stream, and I'm sorry I can't remember exactly who it was that told me about it, but you'd probably think that a Battlefield veteran such as myself could easily explain how this works, but actually I don't know how to reliably trigger this, and for the most part there are plenty of failed attempts before it actually happens. Now basically it's this. You start sprinting normally, and then you release and then quickly tap that same sprint button yet again, which on PC is shift, and I guess that's just it. But for me, I have to try it over and over again before it happens, Sometimes it happens right away, but for the most part there are a few failed attempts before I start sprinting fast, and that can be super annoying if you need that fast sprint in a crucial situation. Now, another thing that made me really enjoy this game was when I really started to get into the role-playing, so to speak, or when I really started taking advantage of the differences between the four characters, which, as many people have pointed out, are the same for both factions, which I believe is just it's just an unfinished part of this beta build that we're seeing now. I don't think that's gonna be the looks of the characters once this game is out, but then again, I am very, very hopeful for this game because I want this game to be just as much fun or even more fun than the beta was. Now, the one character that I played with the most was Boris, and I didn't really get into the other characters because of the lack of time. I'm not entirely sure if Boris is the one that I prefer, because the quick fast heal is also really good, the grappling hook is fantastic. I didn't really have time to try out the scout class with the drone as much as I wanted to, but there is a little bit of footage of that coming as well. But I believe that if you want to be successful, if you want to do really well in this game, playing your class is probably going to be a big part of that, and it's very possible that if you as a YouTuber put together the best clips of taking advantage of whatever is that class's specialization, then you can make any of these classes look really overpowered, which might be the case of my upcoming Boris video that I hope you will be watching in a couple of days. Now, the exception for this, of course, is this drone. Maybe I'm just doing this wrong, but I'm trying to disable this. Well, I tried to roadkill that guy first because that's been possible in other games in the Battlefield franchise, but I was unable to fully disable, or maybe I did disable the car as much as I should have been able to, but to me that's just generally a little bit underwhelming. So, let me show you some jet gameplay, and funny as it is, there are still people today that believe I have the word ace in my name because I consider myself, or try to make believe that I am, an ace pilot. It has absolutely zero nada to do with that. I actually started using the name Mattiace in Battlefield Bad Company 2 at the time when I was only playing infantry, and that is a game that doesn't even have jets or planes. Now, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy flying, I do fly a lot, but during the beta of Battlefield 2042, I was almost exclusively flying the helis if I was flying anything. I didn't try to make use of the hover mode functionality of the jets, which might be a good thing if you spend enough time with it. But the main thing I want to show you with this clip, flying the jet, is the problem with ping that I believe is the problem here. And it's a problem that I've seen in, I think it was the beta of Battlefield 1, or if it was the beta of Battlefield 5, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it was both. Where you see the jet in front of me is warping from time to time, and it makes it even impossible, or almost impossible, to lock on to the jet. And that is saying a lot about how much that jet is actually warping. Now me, I'm pretty sure I'm playing with a relatively low ping here, which is probably why the enemies have no problem locking on to me. But from my experience with any Battlefield game, if you don't limit the ping to at least 120 or something in that area, then you're gonna have a massive amount of problems. Now, I know there's a lot of people that think that higher ping is still okay. It really isn't. But the tolerance and the understandings of issues coming with high ping is a little bit different from player to player, even among very experienced gamers. Does this tell us something about the need for ping regulations? Now, jets and helis and vehicles in general have a tendency to stir up a lot of feelings, and they cause a lot of imbalances in a lot of games. Now, whether or not it's intended that the jets are very weak, or maybe most of us just haven't figured them out yet, well, time will tell, but from my experience flying the jets in Battlefield 2042, I am glad I am a relatively all-around player. I wouldn't want to play this game being a dedicated pilot, but, well, if I had played the jets enough, maybe I would have a different opinion. Check this out.
Like the movement of the vehicle.
Whoa! So, if you still can't get over my name, the reason I have it is because it's almost identical to my actual in real life name. Now, I'll have to admit, I have many times thought that DICE puts too much effort into making these epic scenery things, which looks really cool the first time you watch them, and then maybe it's not that big of a deal anymore, but damn. And again, that is mostly on low graphics. Now, after playing this game for a couple of days, I decided to go with the PBX45, and that is mostly because of situations that you just saw here. The M5A3, which is the default assault rifle that I'm using here, is a really good gun, don't get me wrong, but hipfire is relatively bad. And here you see another example of why spotting and paying attention to the minimap is really important. I would have never known that that guy was hiding there in the bush if I didn't see him on the minimap. And that brings us to another issue, or well, should I say, a relatively controversial topic, which is visibility. There are many aspects of this game that makes it really difficult to see your enemies, whether you're flying in a storm like this, or if it's something else about the graphics design and the effects of the game that just makes it really hard to see your enemies. Now, the thing about it is that there are many arguments for this. Now, hiding and being a little bit stealthy and all that stuff, you could write books full of arguments about why this is good for the game with all these realistic aspects of it. But the fact of the matter is, we all know that one of the big reasons why Battlefield 5 failed as much as it did was, at least partly, because of poor visibility, something that they, well, at least partly did fix, but when they fixed it, it was already too late. So now another thing that has been very controversial is an aspect of the weapons customization, and that is the ammo types. Instead of us being able to choose what ammo we want to spawn with, we are given 2 or 3 types of ammo, it seems. I guess it depends on the weapon, and most of us, if not all of us, normally think that this is not enough of whatever ammo we actually want. Now, the biggest problem here is, of course, that we normally run out of ammo in the most intense situations when the time it takes to switch to another ammo type is just too long, so that specific mechanics itself will get you killed. Now, here you also see another embarrassing example of me not understanding the value of my own class or specialization. I could have easily healed myself a lot faster here, but I am completely focused on my newfound friend, the little puppy, or ranger as it's called. It's a little bit of an underwhelming feature of the game, or maybe so it just seems until we learn how this actually works properly. This is my first spawn of this mechanical dog, and yeah, he's shooting some enemies, which at least gives me the enemies' locations, and that's good. But this is another one of many features of Battlefield 2042 that I haven't bothered learning all that much about, because I believe that this is one of the features that's going to change with a few patches once the game is released. And yes, I do believe that that is also the case with weapons customization. I don't think we've seen the finished version of this yet, and there's probably gonna be a number of patches until we do. So now, when it comes to the problems with ammo that's been discussed so heavily lately, is that there's not enough incentive for anybody to carry around the ammo box, and there's no class that is specifically designed for it, so you don't even know who you would normally ask for ammo, if you even can ask for ammo, something that I haven't figured out if it's even possible. And yeah, this is something that I haven't talked about too much either, and that is the shakiness of the gunner of any of the ground vehicles. Using a machine gun where you actually need to aim is almost pointless, or well, really frustrating anyway. But I don't want to make too much of a big deal about it, because I believe this is going to be fixed. It is beta after all. Now, when it comes to the ammo situation, I think that one of the solutions would be that the looting of ammo from whether it's enemies or friendlies should just give you a lot more. Yes, I know I am not a big fan of using realism as any kind of argument for a game, especially not a Battlefield game where realism is always brought up. But the fact of the matter is, if you looked at it from a realistic point of view, sharing ammo is a topic that there are many wartime stories about, and looting for ammo, well, I guess it depends on the situation and necessity. That guy better use his flares. And he didn't. So now, as much as I enjoyed the beta a lot, I have some very big concerns. And one of them is that what I've seen as DICE keeps developing their games, one of the things that keeps happening over and over again is that things have a tendency to slow down. The main prime example of this is, of course, attrition in Battlefield 5. Now, with Battlefield 2042 beta, I saw a lot of that going in the opposite direction, and to me, that is a good thing. I want action, I want to have fun, I want to play the game. I don't want to sit and wait around for a bunch of animations to happen. I don't want to, spend a lot of time resupplying. So I hope that whatever is happening, whatever has already changed, since apparently we were playing on a relatively old patch during this beta test, whatever changes are implemented, I really hope that things are not going to slow down. The current revive animation is more than enough. We don't want things to be even slower than that. So, one more rocket left. I'm trying to draw out the flares here from this heli before I shoot it. And if I would have had ammo here, I would have been able to fire one or two more rockets and take that heli out. But I'm all alone here in the woods, and well, I guess I have to leave that heli to some of my other teammates. So now I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Battlefield 2042 beta. For example, this map, Orbital, was it too big? Or with the sprinting animation or this new sprinting feature that you see here, does it make any sense that it is this big? And what about my suggestion about looting more ammo from dead players? Well, anything you can think of, share it in the comment section, and be aware of the fact that I do have a secondary channel. It's in the description, where I focus mostly on vehicle gameplay, and that's going to be the case with this game as well. By the time that you're watching this video, I might already have a C5 boom video out, because I blew up like, I don't know, 20, 30, maybe 40 tanks. So if there's anything I have tested during this beta test, it is the C5, and damn, it is good. I'm also coming out with a video, or it might already be out, of my favorite character. What's his name again? Boris and his sentry gun. There will be a full video dedicated to the dog, the ranger, and also to the jeep with the 30mm cannon, because I had a lot of fun with that one as well. So yes, I hope you will subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope I will see you guys in the next live stream and in the next video. Thank you for watching. You're not getting in my car. Sorry, dude. I want a seat switch. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Ah, that didn't do any damage, but when I ran into a little wall in the tunnel, I take damage. What the hell? Whoa! Get fucking wrecked.